Going to call us back to order. It is 6:30. This is the regular meeting for February 10th. That's okay. The town of Smithers acknowledges the Gitumden clan and the Wet'suwet'en people on whose unceded traditional territory we live, work, and play. And the public is notified that this meeting is being recorded and webcast. A notice of which is on the door outside these chambers. Before I go to moving the agenda, I just want to acknowledge on behalf of council that we extend our heartfelt condolences to the people of Tumbler Ridge in the face of the terrible tragedy that's fallen on that community today with the shooting in the community. I have taken a moment to send a note to the mayor, and I'm sure we're all feeling it here tonight. So we'll just get through this meeting as best we can. It's tearing at the hearts of everyone, and to those involved in Tumbler Ridge, our hearts are truly with you. Okay. We're going to do what we came here to do tonight, council. So I'm going to look for a motion to approve the agenda, including the supplemental. And with your consent, we will move 19.2 to 7.1. That was the supplemental letter attached to the public speaking opportunity. And I think the other 19 can just stay in the 19s. So if you're agreeable with that, Councillor Buikema, thank you for the motion. Councillor Raven, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And if we get lost along the way, don't worry, we'll help each other out. Okay. No delegations. And first up, before we get to the public speaking opportunities, is just the public comment period. So anyone in the gallery who wants to speak to an item on the agenda that is different than the public speaking opportunities, this is your moment. So if you wanted to speak to anything. Okay, we're good. Okay, never know. So next up then is under public hearing, but it's actually public speaking opportunities tonight. And I will read the statement before I invite folks to speak if they want to. This public opportunity to speak is convened in accordance with the community charter to allow the public to make representations to council regarding development permit with variance application D25-06 for 1841 Princess Street. The town of Smithers has received a form and character development permit or DP with variance application for that address, 1841 Princess. As part of the development, the town's subdivision servicing and development standards bylaw number 1800, section 3.4C and schedule B requires the proponent to complete various offsite works. In December, the applicant requested a variance to waive the requirement for paving in the rear lane while proposing to complete all other required offsite works. Since then, the applicant has revised the proposal and decided to proceed with the rear lane paving. However, due to resources constraints, the proponent is now requesting variances to waive the offsite works required along 15th Avenue side of the parcel, including sidewalk construction, curb and gutter, and road widening. Those present who believe your interest in the property is affected by the proposed development permit, or in property rather, are provided this opportunity to be heard. Comments are now welcome. When speaking, please start by stating your name and community of residency. So if anyone wanted to speak to that DVP, please come forward. And I will just note that we have received several letters and they're under section 7 in tonight's meeting. 7.1. Okay, and I'm not seeing anyone come forward. So I'll just move on from this and let people know that the discussion regarding this proposed development permit will occur under section 14 of this evening's agenda. Okay, we're going to do one more. So bear with me. We are at item 7.2, and this is a public opportunity to speak. Convened in accordance with the community charter to allow the public to make representations to council regarding temporary use permit application TU 25-02 for Unit 5, 3167 Tatlow Road. The town of Smithers has received a temporary use permit application for Unit 5, 3167 Tatlow Road for a 3-year term. The applicant proposes to operate a gymnasium from the subject location for strength and cardiovascular training and an athletic therapy clinic for the treatment of musculoskeletal injuries. Those present who believe that your interest in property is affected by the proposed temporary use permit are provided this opportunity to be heard. Comments are now welcome. When speaking, please start by stating your name and community of residency. If you're here for that speaking opportunity, I invite you forward. Okay, I'm not seeing any. So council's discussion for this TUP will also occur under section 14 of tonight's agenda. Okay, folks. Oh, and I will note that there was an email received regarding that topic. So then we're going to move on to minutes. First up, 8.1, the minutes of the regular council, January 27th for approval, please. Councillor Raven, Councillor Elliott, any errors or omissions? All in favor? And that's carried. I'm sorry, I just noted when I glanced this way, I meant to offer regrets from Councillor Patterson, who was not able to join us this evening. Okay. Over to you, I think. Items to be released.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Yes, there are 3 items for release at this evening's meeting. The first, that council appoint Don Stewart to the Advisory Planning Commission for a 35-month term expiring December 31st, 2028. That council appoint Donald Murray to the Advisory Planning Commission for a 23-month term expiring December 31st, 2027. And that council appoint Missy Hines to the Advisory Planning Commission for a 23-month term expiring December 31st, 2027.
Thanks, Mr. Schroeder. Okay, over to section 10, business arising. And we have the report from Ms. McKinley, business arising from the January 13th meeting with a couple of recommendations. Someone wants to put those on the floor. Councillor Raven, thank you. Councillor Ray, would anyone like to speak to it? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And staff reports. First up, Councillor Buikema.
Thank you, Mayor Uttrell. First of all, I'd like to move the finance minutes from our January 20th Finance Committee meeting for adoption, and that would include the 2 bolded motions.
And a seconder, please. Councillor Ray, excuse me, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried.
Thank you. And then today I attended a meeting of the Chamber of Commerce. At that meeting, I extended thanks on behalf of council to the Chamber for all their years of operating the Visitor Center. I also gave an update on some of the things we've been busy with at the council table. And then I also want to acknowledge that it is Chamber Week this week. And I just want to extend my thanks and appreciation to our local chamber for the great work they do in supporting local business, advocating for local business. I think they do great work, and I wanted to publicly acknowledge that. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Buikema, and nice acknowledgement. That's very nice. Well received. Okay. And any questions for Councillor Buikema? Then Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. You can see in the agenda the attached library minutes, January 26th report. A lot of good things the library is doing, of course, but one thing that did stand out to me, the very last page, and everyone can read this, of course, library staff have noticed a positive effect since the temporary warming shelter opened. There have been far fewer fires in the encampment, and people are visiting the library because they want to, not just to stay warm. So it's really good to see that. I know that that has been an issue for the library, and I'm glad that this winter was a lot less incidents for them to handle on their own. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Elliott. Councillor Leonard.
Not much for me, but did attend the February 3rd Minerals North meeting, and we agreed at that meeting to increase the number of delegates. So if you haven't registered or you know people that are planning to register, tell them to register. And if they're coming from out of town, to book their hotel, or we might be running out of space. So it's all going very well.
Thanks, Counselor Leonard. That's good news. And again, regrets from Counselor Patterson, Counselor Raven.
There's the meetings from the APC meeting held on January the 29th. I was not able to make the last regular council meeting. I was at Roundup down in the Lower Mainland for work. But what I wanted to highlight from that was Smithers Exploration Group. They have a table down there. And one thing that they did was a Smithers photo. And I was just really blown away at the amount of people that showed up for that photo. Every time everyone got together, we'd take a photo and then it was, oh wait, there's more people coming. So it turned into a really cool photo and just shows the importance of the mining and exploration sector. And then also there was positive feedback. Ms. Barrowman was there highlighting Minerals North. And that was very well received by the trade people that were at the booths at the trade show, and also companies, just showing how well we were marketing it, and people were just really appreciative of that. So that was great. I did attend the DRIPA Town Hall meeting last Saturday that was hosted by the MLA. And then it finished just in time for me to catch the third period of the Steelheads game, and we won.
I love how you said we won. All right. Thanks, Counselor Raven. Counselor Ray.
I attended the NDIT Northwest RAC for council or for Mayor Attrell and the RD. And I don't really have anything to report out of the ordinary from either one of those meetings. Thank you.
Thanks, Counselor Ray. And even though at the last council meeting, I promised I'd get a written report in, it didn't. So I will really try for next time. It feels like it's been a really busy couple of weeks, probably just a couple of things that I would highlight. I mean, thanks, Counselor Ray, for covering those things off. Mr. Dewar and I were able to meet with one of the new senior management members from Northern Health. So it was a great introductory meeting. And our Health Service Administrator, Cormac Hickish, will be back in his job locally fairly soon. So it'll be great to have him back. I participated in part of a virtual town hall on forestry that was set up for local government. I had a conflicting meeting time, but not surprisingly, the provincial government is also creating space for local governments to comment as this sort of whatever is happening. I shouldn't say it that way, what the future of forestry is going to be in British Columbia. And I think I'll hold it there and just try to do a proper summary at the next meeting of all the things going on. And the table is under my report as well, as always. And I think that's it. So let's move on to the staff reports. We've got lots of them. First up, 14.1 from Ms. Smith on a lease agreement, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, a lease agreement for the hangar at the airport. Councilor Ray?
I'll move both parts of the recommendation.
Okay, thank you. And a seconder, Councilor Bucama, thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay. Oh, Councilor Bucama, go ahead.
Yeah, more a comment than a question. I just want to express my appreciation to town staff for how well these lease agreements are written up. I just feel like they do an outstanding job of covering all eventualities. So anyway, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Bucama. Okay. I forget, did we vote? Let's vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. 14.2 also from Ms. Smith, and the lease agreement for Summit Air. I can pronounce that, so I'll say that one. Councillor Leonard, thank you, moves, and Councillor Elliott seconds. Any discussion? Councillor Ray.
Just this is really good news, and thanks to the staff for their work on this.
Thanks, Councillor Ray. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Sorry, Ms. Goodrich, how you doing here? I've been not paying attention to whether or not we're keeping up. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, 14 through 3, rather, again from Ms. Smith, the regular action tracking with a recommendation. Counselor Raven, Counselor Leonard. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, sorry, who did I miss? Counselor Leonard?
I was just gonna say, it's just nice to see, you know, all of the, sorry, I've lost the word, resolutions, there we go, in this order and organized so well and have it be completed and finalized and have the ones open. So it's just a nice format and easy to follow. So much appreciated.
Thanks, Counselor Leonard. And all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And 14.4 from Mr. Dewar, strategic projects list with a recommendation. Counselor Elliott, Counselor Raven, any discussion? Long, I heard. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. And 14.5 from Ms. LeBlanc.
Mayor Attrell.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like I should recuse myself because I'm an employee of Bulkley Valley Christian School. So
Okay, thank you, Counselor Buchanan. Okay, joint use agreement between the town and Bulkley Valley Christian School, 5-year joint use agreement with a recommendation. Counselor Raven, Counselor Ray, discussion? Counselor Raven?
Just a question, if there was a reason why this wasn't renewed sooner, if it expired in 2023?
No particular reason other than that it just wasn't pursued at that time.
All good? Counselor Ray?
I just want to say that I really do approve of whoever pursued it, and it's good to see it back in place.
I'll echo that. It's great to see our facilities being fully used and shared, so thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried unanimously. Oh, right, we need Counselor Buchanan back. Just going on without him. And just for your information, the recommendation was supported. Okay, and so 14.6 from Ms. Berriman on the NDI Economic Development Capacity Building Grant with the recommendation. Counselor Ray, moving. Counselor Leonard, second. Any discussion? It's great. Insert some cash for that economic development function. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. We're moving right along. I probably shouldn't say that, but here we go. We are at 14.7, the form and character development permit, various application for Princess Street with recommendations, 2 recommendations. What's your pleasure, Counselor Ray?
I'll move both
Okay,
recommendations.
and is there a seconder? Counselor Raven seconds. It's all on the table. Any discussion? Questions? Counselor Raven?
Just discussion. I do appreciate that this does include the lane paving, and also we don't end up with another sidewalk that doesn't really have a purpose. So I just thought it was well thought out.
Thank you, Counselor Raven. Counselor Ray?
Yeah, I just wanted to maybe make some comment on the letters that were received. And I think that people need to know that somebody can now have 4 units on a single family lot, thanks to the changes to the zoning bylaw by the provincial government. So I think, you know, when I see some of these things, I think it's not really out there in the public, despite all the news and everything that this can happen. Somebody could have brought the lot, split it in 2 and built them one at a time. And so I think, you know, we need to make sure that the expectation that they were only required because they were being built at the same time, I believe. Mr. Allen might correct me, but you know, if somebody decides to buy a single family home, knock it over and build 4 units on a single family lot, they're not going to be required to put a sidewalk or all that kind of stuff in. So just wanted to maybe get that out there in the public a little more, that this is the provincial government's way of increasing density and hopefully lowering prices of shelter.
Thanks, Counselor Ray. Mr. Allen, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I don't think so, Mayor Attrell. Thank you.
And council, any other comments or questions? Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna, you may echo what Counselor Ray said. change is difficult and adding density to neighborhoods creates some challenge. And at the same time, we're in a position where we really, really need to add housing units to the community. So having, a not-for-profit take up the cause of adding some units, well-needed units of housing is a good thing. And we're in a position where we have to accept, what's in front of us in the best way to add those housing units for the community. So I support it. Okay, Mr. Allen.
Yeah, maybe I would like to add that just planning staff will do its best to, or do their best to get back to some of the residents that have written in, just to advise them of the new zoning permissions and some of the servicing questions that have arisen there as well.
Thanks for that, Mr. Allen. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Ray.
Sorry, just one more comment, and that's, there were a couple that said, we're spending this much on a project. You should be able to afford the money. And I think in this case, especially, it's a nonprofit. That money's going to go in towards hopefully the next project. So there is a benefit to all of this as well.
Thanks, Councilor Ray. Okay, are we ready? All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Okay, and I note representative for the proponent is in the gallery. Okay, we are at 14.8. The top for Tatlow Road with the staff recommendation. Councilor Raven moves, Councilor Leonard seconds. Okay, and this is for the temporary use permit for the gym. Any comments or questions? Councilor Ray.
Just more of a comment. I remember when I was a long time ago, when I was a kid playing baseball, that the only place that there was an indoor batting park was in an industrial zone, because it was the only place they could find where they could have the high enough ceilings, et cetera, kind of like this one. So I know that there's a reason why the zoning's the way it is, but I think it kind of does seem to fit in light industrial to me. And if we started to get tight, then maybe it might be different, but I think it's definitely worth 3 years to try and figure out whether this is the right fit. Seems like it will be.
Wrong way, sorry, my mic was on. Anyone else? Councilor Raven?
Just a question about the temporary use permits as a whole, because I don't know how often we see them. It doesn't jog my memory that much. But I'm just wondering if the applicant does seek to extend it for the additional 3 years, like how soon would that come back to our table? Do we have like a timeline-ish?
Mr. Allen?
Thank you, Mayor Atchell. Well, if the 3 years approved tonight, then it would need to come back prior to that expiry date. So we would always, we do put staff puts it on the schedule to notify the applicant or the temporary use permit holder that their permit will be expiring in the next few months. And then if they want to seek extending it, then it has to get on the agenda prior to the expiry.
No, that's good. And yeah, just to echo what Councilor Ray said, is I think it's a good use for the space. And also it does fill a community need, because yeah, we've had some shifting in that kind of area, and I know it has left a bit of a gap. So I think this is a bit of a win-win all around.
Thanks, Councilor Raven. Anyone else? I think the only thing I'm going to add is, if as council, we think that function is appropriate in the zone, we ought to consider that. So I asked Mr. Allen for a little bit of a historical look at this. So Mr. Allen, correct me if I'm repeating incorrectly, but that it was a permitted use in the zone, and council made the decision to remove the use from the zone. So the existing gym is on a grandfathered clause. So there was reason for removing it. So now we're accepting a TUP to use it again. So I think it does, it puts it back on us to say, if it's an appropriate use, we might want to consider amending the zone. And if it's not an appropriate use, we're in an awkward position of approving a use that we removed not that long ago. So I'm prepared to go with the flow, but I think it does make us think about the described uses that we have in zones. Councilor Ray.
Sorry, so I don't actually remember that, which is on me. Just through to Mr. Allen, was that part of the overall zoning bylaw rewrite, or was it a specific change?
Mr. Allen.
One.
Yeah, thank you, Marichal. The original inclusion of gymnasiums in the zoning bylaw was around 2004, I think. And it was when the gymnastics club was looking at locating on Tatlow Road. So that's when it was originally approved. And then in 2022 is when it was removed from the zoning bylaw during the rewrite. And the main reason was to make sure that because we have fewer industrial properties available for industrial use, was to ensure that that industrial stock is in place. So that was the reasoning.
Thanks, Mr. Allen. Okay, any other comments? So I guess I just raise it as it's incumbent upon us to think about zoning and land use. That is one of our primary responsibilities. And I cross the line too when there's something that I think makes sense, and I'm prepared to support this. The temporary use permits ought to be a flag. It's either an appropriate use or it isn't. And most TUPs come back for extensions. And at some point, it feels like it's too hard to roll them back. So I mean, I've been here long enough to know that that tends to be the way it goes. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Councillor Ray.
Yeah, I think that I support the temporary use tonight. And if the applicant does come back again and seek to go for 3 further years and there hasn't been a problem, I think council at the time should probably consider just putting it back in the zoning bylaw, because you only get 6 years. So they would have to move at the end of the second one if council didn't change the zoning.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Ray. Okay, just food for thought for all of us. And the motion is on the table. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Okay, thanks. 14.9 from Ms. Chandran, adoption of the dollars to the door incentive program policy. Councillor Bucama, you're moving? Okay, is there a seconder? Councillor Elliott, discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. It's a good program. Okay. 1410 from Chief DeVries, who is with us this evening on these titles, the UBCM CRA Fire Smart Community Funding and Supports Grant with a recommendation. Councillor Leonard moves, Councillor Raven seconds, and any discussion? Anything you want to add, Chief? Okay. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried unanimously. Okay. Those are the staff reports. We have the impact report for discussion. And Mr. Muscat, our airport manager, is here. Thanks for joining us. And council. Comments, Councillor Ray.
Just, I can't remember how far back, but we did receive a presentation from somebody, not this program, but just regarding human trafficking and how prevalent it is. So it's actually good to see our airport become part of this, and that the cost is fairly low cost, and hopefully it can make a difference.
Thanks, Councillor Ray. Anyone else? Okay. And it is for information, so thanks, and thanks, Mr. Muscat. Okay, no bylaws tonight. We're at the 17s. Okay, 17-1 from, sorry, I've just lost the name. Mr. Para. Council, comments? Mr. Dewar? Anyone? Do you like it? Go ahead.
Yeah, so staff's looked at this, and this is one that we believe we can manage at the operational level. So if there is any motion, we'd recommend it being referred to staff.
Thanks, Mr. Dewar. Councillor Ray?
I'll make that motion. I also actually thought that was kind of an operational thing.
Thanks, Councilor Ravens. It's moved and seconded. Refer to staff. Any other comments? Councilor Raven. And all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Okay, this is where I feel like I might be missing something. Where is, right, okay, thank you. The 18s. Counselor Ray,
18-1.
okay. Let's start there.
I've already thanked Mr. Bannister. I'm not trying to butter him up, but I just thought, you know, that this is a good example. It should be posted all over Facebook for how to raise a disagreement politely and respectfully. I know when Mr. Bannister was around the table, he was always that way as well, but it's just refreshing to see somebody say, hey, I've got a bit of a problem with this. Can you explain this to me in a nice manner like that? So, and Mr. Bannister has been informed how it will be passed through. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Ray. Yeah, that gave me a second to think as well. So this one, I think if council is willing, let's refer this to staff and staff will bring it back to us at the next meeting. And there'll be some opportunity for us to discuss it then, rather than us working off the fly this evening, thinking about the individual comments that were made. So if someone's willing to make that motion, Councilor Ray, thank you. Councilor Bucama, thank you. And yeah, so then we can look forward to having it back with some staff intelligence attached to that. And by that, I mean the information, sorry. And then we'll have an opportunity to actually discuss it fully. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Anything else out of the 18s? Okay. In that case, oh, we had one other 19, sorry, we had the 19 is the news release that was released earlier this week from the Ministry of Housing. And it's in the 19s, but I think that's for information as well. It doesn't require a motion.
That's correct, Your Worship.
Okay, all right. So we'll leave it there. And it was good news. Happy to share that out publicly. And thanks, Ms. LeBlanc, for working on the communication as well. Appreciate that. So if I get the motions right, we're going to recess. So a motion to recess the open, please. Councillor Bucama, Councillor Ray, all in favor? Any opposed? And that's carried. So we'll just take 5 and then I'll invite you to retake